by the title below. Welcome back to the Queen's Yanks channel. As you can see from the title of this video, we are doing something that we've not done on this channel before, which is stadium rankings, and we decided to go domestic on the stadium rankings today. We're going to be keeping it here in the U.S., doing MLS. And I will say before we get started, and I can't speak for Adam, but I'll speak for myself. I am not an MLS fan whatsoever. I have only been to 2 of these stadiums that we're going to be ranking today. And that said, also in terms of my MLS viewership, I should say, I watched a few Zlatan games because, I live in Las Vegas and LA Galaxy are the closest team to me. But outside of that, my knowledge before that went to David Beckham and then hardly anything pre-David Beckham era. So, Adam, do you have anything else to add to that?
The only thing I have to add to that would be that I have not been to any of the MLS soccer specific stadiums. So,
yeah. So don't go too hard on us if you're watching this video, because I don't know how this is going to go, but we're going to be ranking this video based on how we would want to see a game, the 5 least likely places we'd want to see a game, and the 5 most likely places we want to see a game. And we're going to start this video off by going with the 5 least likely places we'd want to go see a game at. And we are excluding all NFL stadiums and the 1 MLB stadium. Am I missing anything else?
And the 1 Canadian Football League stadium.
Yes, the 1 CFL stadium. So these are going to be specific to soccer stadiums, and they do include some temporary stadiums. So keep that in mind as well, because those do not belong to necessarily to other sports. So that said, we're going to be, I guess I'll go ahead and start it off at number 5, Adam. My number 5, and that is not my worst, that is my 5th worst. So my number 5 is going to be a stadium built in 2018, so it's relatively new, and it belongs to DC United. And the field is Audi Field. And it's got a 20K capacity, but it looks like on average they only fill that up about halfway. So when I look at this stadium, Adam, I just kind of see a kind of a cookie cutter stadium. I don't really see anything unique about it because it's so new. I just expect a little bit more, I think. And there is an open part in the end zone. I don't really know what that's for, to be honest with you. It just kind of looks kind of quirky to me, and not in a good way. But I did see from another angle that you could see it looks like maybe the White House or something like that in the side. Maybe that's why it's like that. I'm not sure. So if there's any DC United fans, let me know what that's for. But from an outsider's perspective and someone who's never been in the stadium, it just looks kind of quirky for me. So that's number 5 on my list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Audi Field almost made my bottom 5 as well, but not quite. My biggest thing was when I was looking into this, I don't think it gave an exact amount, but it said that the I guess it was the estimated cost for the construction of Audi Field was between $400 and $500 million. And I was just like, what? So I actually did a decent amount of research, and just like I'm trying to figure out like why is Audi Field the most expensive stadium in the MLS, because it is by far from what I was able to figure out, and I couldn't tell you unless it's just the location. I guess that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
And by all means, fact check us in the comments if you're hearing these and we're missing something or you want to add something to it.
But I'll excuse me. I'll move on to my number 5 in our top 5 worst MLS stadiums. Mine goes to Dick's Sporting Goods Park, which is the home to the Colorado Rapids. I don't have a lot to say about this one. It seemed extremely bland.
Yeah.
Not much to it. I guess you could kind of throw it into that cookie cutter stadium design, but I wouldn't necessarily say there's anything that retracted from it, but it was extremely like bland. Like there's really not much there.
Yeah, so we'll move on to my number 4. And my number 4 starts a trend of stadiums built within this 2005 to 2008 era. And I don't know what it is about that era, but they all kind of have a very similar design. And I want to start off by going to a stadium built in 2008, which is up north in Montreal. and I don't know if I'm saying the name of this correctly, but it's Saputo Stadium, Saputo. I'm not sure how exactly you say that, but it's a stadium that holds nearly 20K, but I don't have the numbers for this year because I don't think they've been able to play there this year. I think they're going through some expansion or something. I kind of just briefly read about it, but either way, this is just a basic looking stadium. I really wanted to like this. The new branding of the Impact to Montreal SC or SC Montreal. I actually the logo and crest it's grown on me, and I like the colors, but the stadium didn't come with an update, unless that's what they're doing right now to it. But other than that, it's just a single row stadium to me. There's nothing special about it. I mean, I do kind of like the thing off in the distance. I'm not sure if that's a building or what, but other than that, it's just nothing to it for me. So it comes in at number 4.
Yeah, so my number 4 for the fourth worst stadium in the MLS happens to be Saputo Stadium of the Montreal Impact.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at this one. I mean, I do like the graphic design of the Montreal Impact on the, I'm assuming what is the visitors sideline. But my issue with this one is just like it honestly reminds me of like a high school facility.
Yeah.
Like not impressed at all. The only thing of note, which you mentioned yourself, is I don't know. I didn't do enough research to actually. I guess I should have, but the building in the background looks like it's part of Olympic Stadium, which I don't know if that's correct or not, but
I don't know. It's neat looking, whatever that is.
yeah. hmm
All right, so we'll move on to number 3 for me. And number 3 for me is Dick's Sporting Good Park, which you've already mentioned. I don't have anything else to add, to be honest with you. You pretty much said all there was to think about. It's a 2007. It's built in 2007, which goes right along with that era of stadiums that I just don't like. It's got a capacity of about 18K. Looks like they fill up on average just under 12K. So it's decently. It looks like it gets a decent crowd. When I think of Denver, I just feel like maybe it should have a better view of the mountains or at least something in the back. But it's just nothing to that for me. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not impressed with it. I mean, it could be a. Don't get me wrong. We've not been to this stadium, so it could be very comfortable to sit in these seats. Don't get me wrong. We don't know that, and if it is, let us know. But comes in at number 4 on yours, number 3 for me.
So for me, number 3 is Subaru Park, home to the Philadelphia Union. So my reasoning on this one is I hate the location of this because depending on where you're sitting, no matter where you're sitting, you are literally right beside a major highway, like literally like feet away. I mean, I know it's kind of probably a little bit above the stadium, but you've got this bridge coming across towards the stadium, which I honestly like. I guess like in some situations that actually might be a scenic view, but I feel like it's just a obstruction in the way. Doesn't look good at all. So for those reasons, I don't like the location. I don't like the design. They have kind of somewhat open ends on either end and very limited seating on either end. I don't understand the location. I don't understand the design either. So for that reason, Subaru Park of the Philadelphia Union gets the third worst for me.
So now we're going to go into the top 2, and these are going to be interesting. And again, I should have said this maybe before. We don't know each other's picks, so we're kind of just winging this as we go. I'm surprised we've gotten 2 very similar so far, actually. So my number 2, the second worst stadium in MLS that I would least likely to be watch a stadium or to watch a game would be Toyota Stadium, home of FC Dallas, which isn't even actually in Dallas from what I saw. I think it's in Frisco, nearby Frisco. But it was built in 2005. Holds about a little over 20K. It's a grass field. Kind of what you said about one of the stadiums earlier. I'm not sure which one you said it on, but to me, it just looks like a high school football stadium. And in fact, it looks like high school football team does play here from time to time because on a lot of the pictures I saw, there is a football field on the actual turf or on the pitch. But I don't know if it's used for football or not. But either way, this is just a very, in my opinion, visually, this is the ugliest stadium that we have in MLS, in my opinion. And it doesn't look like a soccer stadium to me. It just looks like uh, A poor attempt at a high school football stadium. That's all I really have to say. I don't know how FC Dallas fans feel about it. I do appreciate your team for building so much USM&T youth. So really thankful for that in your academy, but stadium, you guys deserve a little bit better than this. So it comes in number 2 on my list.
Yeah, I can't argue with that one. I mean, they literally Toyota Stadium was the one spot outside my worst 5, so I can't blame you for that one. My number 2 is actually Dignity Health Sports Park, which is home to the LA Galaxy. So my biggest reason for this one is from what I could tell in my research is it appears to be, and I know I believe it's an older stadium as well, but the stands are the furthest away from the pitch of any soccer specific stadium that I looked at, and I just I don't like that. That was really the one major detractor for me, and because of that, they get second worst stadium for me.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that either. It definitely came lower on my end. And we kind of talked off the video about it a little bit. I gave a little bit of benefit of the doubt for older stadiums just because I think we were very young to soccer back then, and I looked past the flaws a little bit. But yeah, I get it. It's not my favorite either. Neither is San Jose. It was lower on my list too. Um, but that said, the worst stadium in MLS that I would least likely go to is, I have no idea if you say this Drive Pink or it's actually DRVPNK or if it's Durf Pink. I don't know how exactly you say that. Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which is the temporary home of Inter Miami. And this looks like a stadium that doesn't know what the hell it wants to be, in my opinion. It looks like a temporary stadium. It looks like it's built up just enough to host an MLS team, but they haven't done enough because they know they're only going to be there until that gorgeous stadium that they're trying to build gets built. So for that reason, just because it has no identity to me, I have it ranked last. It's not it's a fine look. Don't get me wrong, I love the colors. Okay, pink is my second favorite color, and you know this. I absolutely love the colors of the seats, but it just looks like to me is just something that, like, this belongs at the University of Louisiana Monroe, not MLS.
So for me, my worst MLS stadium is one that we were talking about earlier, which happens to be PayPal Park, which is home to the San Jose Earthquakes. I'm just poor attempt at a horseshoe style stadium, in my opinion. I feel like there's just a lot of wasted space. There's one end zone where there's essentially absolutely nothing there, and there like when I first saw a picture of the stadium, I'm like, okay, well, let me look at a closer picture. Maybe there's a really nice view. I was like, nope, there's no nice view there. So I'm like, well, what's the purpose of the so essentially, it seems like it's a worthless, pointless horseshoe stadium, and for that reason, like it comes in as worst for me.
But it's home to probably the greatest MLS player ever, Wando. Still have not forgiven him for the Belgium game, but that's another story. So anyway, there's our top 5 least likely places we'd go watch an MLS game for 2 people who do not watch the MLS whatsoever. Let us know your comments. I'm sure we were wrong on some of these. Let us know. Fact check us if you want to. If you like any of these stadiums, let us know also. Other than that, appreciate everybody watching. And our next video will be on the 5 best stadiums that we would like to go to. So that said, appreciate you watching, and everybody stay safe out there and have a great week.
Bye, everybody.